So my dad was diagnosed with diabetes type 2, probably my last year of high school. And I in high school I did medical academy, so it was like we were focusing more specifically on like the medical field in general. So I knew I wanted to pursue something in that direction, but I still was unsure. I was kind of initially headed in the dental route, but then once he was diagnosed, um, I became more interested in what it was and like what it dealt with, and then I dove into food and all of that area. So I was looking for something here that would allow me to learn more about that disease in general, but not specifically like medical, like biology or something. So that was the route I took. I mentioned healthy eating misconceptions in the Hispanic community because, well, I have a job right now and I am surrounded by Hispanics. They're mostly all Hispanics, so they've been doing these like challenges just as a company in general to like see if they can like better each other's health. And they started one that was similar to the Biggest Loser competition, where they see who can lose the most weight. And they knew that I was studying this here at the university. So they started asking me for advice, and then I would always hear them talking in the background about ways to lose weight, and they would talk about like foods that they were like, no, you can't go near that food. This is really bad for you, or this is what you should be eating 24/7, or stop eating entirely. And I was just really intrigued because I didn't think that there were this many misconceptions, and a lot of them were talking about like removing what they eat on the daily basis entirely, just because even they thought like eating Hispanic foods were, I guess, unhealthy. So that's where I became more interested in it, and I went online, and there's like a little niche community that focuses in on trying to beat those misconceptions. And so I was interested in that, and then yeah, I think it's important because in the Hispanic community, you have your own culture, you have your own foods, you have traditions that families pass down, different meals. Um, Cooking in general is very huge in the Hispanic community, so I feel like it's very important to make sure to keep that alive, even if you're trying to become healthier, even if you get diagnosed with diabetes or something. You don't have to remove these foods from your life. You don't have to go blank entirely on what you grew up on. You can learn to mix these foods around, or even you can just learn in general what the nutrition components are of these foods so that you can realize that you're not having to entirely remove them from your culture, your tradition. So I think I mentioned earlier to you that before I started college, my biggest concern was money, it was financial. So I just wanted to make sure that my family wouldn't have to worry about me being here or having to pay for anything. So I initially was just looking for scholarships to like get me through without having to put my parents in any financial stress. And then I applied for this one because a family friend in high school had mentioned that she had heard of it through one of her teachers. And she had mentioned that she had told me some of the requirements, and I thought I fit them. So I know that she said that they only emailed first instead of you having to look out for them. So I was just praying and praying that I got an email. And I did get an email. And then I applied, and I realized that the path was more than just the money. Once I got here and I went through the 2-week program before the semester started, that's where I realized that there was way more than just the money that was associated with it. Obviously, that's a really big aspect of it, but they really just like, they took me in and welcomed me to this. I feel like this is a whole new world at the university, and Path just kind of like helps you take baby steps to get in the right place at the right time and meet the right people. So I'm very grateful to have gotten in. It's been really great. I feel like the resources here, well, to begin with, that's what they most talk about is the resources. And I feel like that's the biggest aspect of it. There's both the staff, for starters, and then just all the programs and things that you have within the honors college. They always make sure that you never know that you can't ask for help, and that it's always there. You're never alone. Especially here in the college, even just the area is very welcoming and enticing to get you to come in. So it's very nice. Last summer, um, Dr. Sochi emailed us in the Path students, letting us know that Dr. Bailey had an opportunity. And I've always loved working with children, like ever since I was little, and I saw it as an opportunity to grow. So I applied, and basically, you're working with children, and you're introducing them to STEM in general. Dr. Bailey had us both over there in Dumas, Arkansas, and then we also brought them here to the university. And we were just doing different activities, showing them different fields that they could go into, showing them some of the things here on campus, and just getting them involved in general and kind of spiking their interests. And I was a volunteer last summer, but then this summer, before she started the camp again, she reached out and asked me if I would help her this year with running her social medias, because last year she didn't really have any social medias. She sort of just, since it had been like the first year back after COVID, it had been a while since she did it in general. So she was running differently. And then this year, she wanted more, I guess, outreach, and she asked me to help her with the social media aspect of it. And I basically ran the Instagram for her and just kind of started it up, and we were just promoting the camp and getting people interested again. And it was really nice working with the kids just because their curiosity is so big. And like at that age, I feel like you can very easily inspire them to do basically anything in the fields that they want to. So it's nice to have like people of our age be around them, because we're at a spot where we can both be very professional but also relate to these kids because we're still growing. So it was nice to be with them and let them ask all these different questions, and us be able to answer them in a way that's both like relatable to them but also letting them see us as role models for the future. I think it had to do with reading into my dad's diagnosis. Once I started getting into diabetes and insulin and all of that, I started realizing how much of an impact food had. And then once I got into that, then I opened up the realm of like the mind and the body in general. And I started reading a lot of books and listening to different podcasts, just about like the effect of like your mental health and how your mental health plays into what you eat or what you don't want to eat or what you do or what you don't want to do. And then all of that in total ties into your health. And I felt like if I wanted to eventually in the future help people like my dad or anybody struggling, I'd have to look at more than just one aspect of their health. So that's where I opened up to holistic and looking at the entire body in general. I hope to inspire in the future. I know there's a lot of kids that were similar to me when they were little, that they knew they wanted to do something big, but they didn't know what, just because there's so much that you could do. So I hope to, in the future, I hope to be able to put myself in a position where I can be a helping hand to them, just how I was in their position, and be able to let them know that there are people that see their struggles or were in their position and made it out. So yeah.